I have a confession. But first, I want you all to have a tiny confession too. Let's be honest. If you had one wish to change something about your body, what would it be? I'll give you some time to make a wish. Just do it in your head. You don't have to rush it. Okay, have you got your answers? Great. So to me, my wish is to change my height. I want my legs to be longer so bad because if I were taller, I would feel less small and be confident enough to express myself. That's what I thought 1 year ago. However, it wasn't always like that. You see, when I was younger, all I cared about was keeping myself fit. Because in my eyes back then, being slim was being pretty. So I did something I forever regret until now, is that going on a diet throughout most of my teenage years. At the end of the process, I did lose some weight and I did look slimmer. I received few comments about how different I look after losing weight from relatives, neighbors. It was satisfying to hear that. It really did. But that's all. The reality of being slim was not as magical as I thought. So, me 1 year ago was tired of chasing that perfect image. One day, I sat down and thought seriously about my life and the way I live. There were myriad questions running through my head. Why do I have to change myself for others? Why does it feel so important not to be the odd one out? Why don't I feel enough? It turns out the reason why we are not living authentically is not that we want to be perfect, but because we are afraid that if we were different, we would be lonely and not belong to any group. This is what science calls the need to belong. In Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it is the desire to feel connected, accepted, and be part of a group. So, I found the simplest truth ever on this earth is that humans are much more alike than we think. Why do I say this? I first recognized this when I had a conversation with my friend about 1 year ago. At that time, I was struggling with self-acceptance when a close friend of mine started becoming closer to another person. I was jealous, I was resentful, but I didn't want to admit the feeling because how strange it is to feel jealous just because your friend made a new friend. So I acted unbothered. I laughed with him, even though I didn't really want to. Up until one day, in a casual conversation with M, who was a mutual friend of all of us, the topic came up, and she said she was kind of jealous with them for being such close too. And at that moment, something sparked in me. It turns out I am not that different. I just haven't found a person who shares the similarities with me. And all I need is just a genuine conversation with someone. This perspective leads me to a conclusion. The deep reason behind the desire to appear perfect comes from the lack of human connection. I'm gonna say it again. The desire to appear perfect comes from the lack of human connection. So how do we stop that perfectionism running through our blood? By having conversation. Talking to people is the best way to understand them and understand ourselves at the same time. However, to create true human connections has never been easy. William James, the father of American psychology, once said, whenever two people meet, there are really 6 people present. There is each man as he sees himself, each man as the other person sees him, and each man as he really is. So when you're in a conversation, you're not talking to the person next to you. It's your image you're adopting, talking to the image they're adopting. And these barriers even get thicker over time as you grow up, and I would like to call them filters. So what are filters? Filters are what we use all the time, but little do we recognize them. Basically, filters are illusions. Filters are what represent you, but not you. They present what you want others to see. And when a connection is built through filters, it's never gonna last long. Because someday, you don't have enough energy to maintain that perfect image. Someday, something would happen, and they would know about the real you. So, how to have a true human connection? A true human connection must come from the direct connection of two souls, which means you have to delete all your illusions about yourselves and others. There are two solutions that I'm recently implementing which help me to live more authentically, and I would like to share it to you today. First of all, to have a true human connection, you have to connect with yourself first. And yourself here, I mean, is your true self. So my first advice to live more authentically is to focus on your strength and what you love. Some of you have patience, some of you have love, some of you are good at math, art, sports, whatever it is, whatever your gift is, you need to be aware of its existence and focus on what defines you. And with the thing you want to do it for yourself and just because of yourself. I know to some people, this may sound kind of selfish, but that's actually the main point. Because if you cannot make yourself your first priority, then who are you living your life for? Secondly, after you have fully understood what you want in life, it's time to connect with people. And to truly connect with people, you need to understand them before going through the conversation. Now, it sounds kind of strange because I said earlier that to understand people, you need to talk more to them, right? That's true. But there are two things you can know for sure before going through the conversation with anyone and without thinking that you're not good enough. First, people have more similarities with you than you think. So don't be afraid to tell how you feel or do what you love, because the person next to you might share that same feeling. And even if the person next to you don't have emotions that coincide with yours, you still give your emotions a place to breathe. Don't you think it is much more important than keeping it yourself? Second, although you may share lots of similarities with someone, they are still different from you in numerous things. And this is where insecurity started. Lots of people believe that the reason we struggle with insecurities is because we are comparing ourselves to others. Therefore, we need to stop comparing. However, that's not how it works. The human brain is programmed to observe and analyze. So there's no way you can stop the comparison. Even if you brainwash yourself not to do it, the comparisons still happen in your head unconsciously. So, when you witness a difference, instead say, I'm different from them. Say they are different from me. And I respect that. Because I know each of us comes from different backgrounds and we all have different talents or gifts. While the first sentence expresses self-doubt, the second sentence demonstrates active reflection. By putting yourself at the center, you are proactively taking control of your own thoughts and actions. Furthermore, another way of thinking that I quite like is to view your differences from a person as an opportunity to connect with another person. This way, you will not feel not enough anymore, but believe in yourself and remain an open mind for further connections. Ultimately, all self-doubt stems from our perception and how we see the world. So after this talk, I would like all of you to do a simple task. Is that to ask yourselves a question and think about the answer seriously. because it might change how you live forever. Do you want to shape your world or let the world shape you? Thank you.